Welcome back to another episode of TNT. That's Travis and Tyler. I'm Travis, obviously, and Tyler Patner from Pyramyd Air was able to come out over the summer, and we sat down and discussed some of the hot topics in the airgun industry. Today, the two that we're bringing you are why don't we offer guns with aftermarket upgrades, and what is the best gun for a new air gunner. I hope you enjoy these. Stay tuned. So the reason we don't offer them with aftermarket accessories is because they're aftermarket accessories.
Good point.
They're not market accessories. We're in the gun market right now.
Is there like a pre-market accessories?
There's a pre-market accessories. Those are the ones you find at SHOT Show that they tell you're coming out in April.
Oh, gotcha. Those are like the mythical things that don't exist yet.
And then there's, you go to the marketplace,
right,
which is Airgun Depot, or I guess you guys sell airguns too. So
we might, one or two.
So you could go to Pyramyd also. But you should go to Airgun Depot, and then you buy it, and then you can go and get aftermarket accessories. That's what it means. It's after.
Well, now to be fair, you guys do sell some aftermarket stuff. Not. All right. So,
and you can technically buy them before you buy the gun.
Yeah, so the question's kind of weird, right? I think the question's kind of getting into why don't you sell this gun kitted out with all these aftermarket accessories that I could get that I have to go through myself and buy from 4 or 5 different vendors or the manufacturer themselves or whatever. A good example is I want a regulator for a Benjamin Marauder. Okay, go buy one from Huma or Alteros or whoever, right? There are people that make these things. It's not like it's not accessible. But then people go, well, I want you to install it. We do get this from time to time, which I find hilarious. And you're like, well, okay, we could do that for you, but you're gonna we can't honor the warranty for you if we do that, right? We're gonna charge you to do the service, and you have to buy the part. We don't sell it. It's complicated, and people don't understand. I
think where you're going with this is, you've already got so many individual items.
Right.
If you start making kits and bundling it, then it multiplies that.
Well,
right?
so it's fine to have kits and bundles and stuff like that. That's totally cool. But when you do it with aftermarket parts and accessories, depending on what the part or accessory is, it voids the warranty from the manufacturer. So now the customer gets all pissed off when we sold them this part that they installed or we installed or whatever that voids that warranty. And also another thing, these are businesses. Sadly, we can't do business with every single part maker and aftermarket accessory place on the market.
And there's the supply issue.
Yeah, some of these people are literally one-man or one-woman operations that...
they don't have 80 employees like we do.
Right, you may not be able to get a supply when you need it. And that's a big problem, these things... Pyramyd Air has been around for over 20 years. The company, before I got there, had tried to do some of this aftermarket stuff and oftentimes ran into just those kinds of problems where you have supply issues with the manufacturer, and because it's a one-person operation, they fall off the face of the earth and you never hear from them again. But
it's true that you have, a big company, you've got to have supply. You bring in something, you've got to make sure that people are going to be able to get it when they order it.
Yeah, and you also have to make enough money on it to make it worth your while, right? And a lot of these places just don't factor in a manufacturer, dealer, retailer level kind of pricing structure, which is fine. It's okay to go direct to consumer. Nobody's arguing that. But as a consumer, just know that sometimes you're going to have to buy some of these things on your own from other places. And another thing is not everybody wants what you want. So you want to buy the FX Impact with what's the parts company name?
Crawford and Lipton.
With the Crawford and Lip this and that and the other thing, and you want the digital gauges, and you want to buy 5 slug liners and da-da-da-da-da. Guess what, man? There's somebody else that just wants to buy a 30 caliber Impact stock out of the box and has no desire to mess with it. I guess my point is that what Travis likes, I don't necessarily like. So, in the grand scheme of things, we want you to have the gun you want. And if you want to go accessorize it with a ton of aftermarket stuff, whether we sell it or you have to get it from a third party, at the end of the day, that's okay. We sell some of that stuff. Airgun Depot sells some of that stuff. It's just a matter of trying to appeal to the most people possible, because you can't hit everybody right where they live. You can't tug on everybody's heartstrings, right?
Yeah. So, and one of the things we do is we put, our combos together.
Sure.
So we take, pair up a gun with a scope, with a tank or a pump or that sort of thing. So you can buy basically everything you need to get started and have a good package. You save some money on it. And so that's one of the ways that we try to help you out with that. But obviously there's numerous combinations and any sort of configuration that we can't cover them all, but we try to get, what
you want to give people as many reasonable options as you can. Like, we all know you're going to need pellets, so we try and get you the best pellets you can for that gun, right? One of the things that we did, which was kind of unique from a IT perspective, they created like this swappable bundle thing where you can put the gun and then we can give you some pellet options, some scope options, so you're not tied to one per se. But it's really just about, we try to give you guys as many options as you can without spending more than you need to, and without going too crazy, because there's always going to be some guy out there that's going to buy a gun and put a scope that's like 95 times the value of the gun on and we just can't possibly sell it all. It's just not possible, sadly. It'd be great if we could, but it's just not feasible from a business perspective. And at the end of the day, it's about, keeping the business going, making sure you're feeding all of the people, and keeping everybody happy that works for you, and I think it's about providing those services to the masses in general.
Yeah.
So get over it.
No, that's not the point at all. The point is we do our very best at Airgun Depot to make sure you're satisfied with the products and get what you need.
I'm trying to figure your accent out.
Oh, good grief.
Good grief.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, it's just so difficult to really weed through all the options that are out there now. There's thousands of air guns out there. What do you buy? Yeah. What do you tell people? Let's say
that's exactly the first thing I do. Okay, well, tell me what's your, why do you want an air gun? What are you looking to do with it? Okay, and what's your budget? Those are the two questions.
So let's say I have one I get all the time. I got a backyard pest problem, squirrels, whatever, rabbits, whatever it might be. What do you recommend for that? I got $200-300 to spend. Tell me what I should get.
My first reaction is always a Springer.
Sure.
With Springer, you get the best bang for your buck. You can get decent power, up to, a certain level, up to 25, 30 foot-pounds max, really. But I always have that question, that concern niggling at the back of my head that are they going to be able to shoot it accurately?
Sure.
Because they're going to want something, if it's a raccoon or something, you need something pretty big. A Springer's not ideal for that. But the more powerful the air gun, the harder it is to shoot. And so then it's like, okay, well, you really need a PCP.
Sure.
And then you can look at the Gauntlet. You can look at, the Flash. You can look at these kind of entry-level PCPs, the Urban. But then, of course, you have all the other stuff you have to get.
Right. So it's really, there's a fine line, right? And you have to you have to make a quick snap judgment about what that person's capability level is, and that's difficult to do. And I always qualify it like, if you're willing to put the time and the effort into learning how to shoot this, then a spring gun's going to be great for you. I always go to a Diana 34 because it's like that just perfect price point, $200 to $300 entry-level German-made spring gun, and usually they're fantastic. But now with those inexpensive PCPs, it's completely changed that conversation, where all of a sudden a pump in a Storm Rider, right, is $300.
Yep.
That's not too bad. A Seneca Aspen is $400, and that's got everything you need right there in the box. And obviously your Gauntlet, your Flash, your Fortitude. There's so many other options out there now. All right, let me throw another one at you. First-time buyer of a PCP. What's your advice there?
So I think you have to encourage somebody to spend a little bit more than they want to spend.
Yeah.
It's like you get what you pay for. And, if you're not that this, the Storm Rider is a great gun for its price.
And that's the qualifier.
The Flash is a great gun for its price. and the Gauntlet too. I mean, these guns are priced where they're at because that's really kind of their value. But you don't get the great trigger. They're not going to be as fun to shoot because of that trigger, because of other issues you have. So if you can jump up to like $500 or $600, then you're getting a lot better gun.
Absolutely.
And if you're talking to somebody who's paying $2,000 or $3,000 for a firearm, then you have to talk them into that $1,000, $1,500 PCP, and then they're not going to have regrets. Like this doesn't feel entry level to me. This feels quality. Everything works smoothly. The trigger's nice, and it's accurate.
Yep.
Because if someone's a serious shooter, then what they're interested in is accuracy.
Absolutely.
And you can get really accurate, inexpensive air guns, but you're not necessarily going to get one every time.
Yeah, and one of the things I've found, you shoot so many of these inexpensive PCPs because, we got to review them, right? Because everybody wants one. It's that whole, like, how far do I have to go to get great accuracy? Not just good. Like, 1-inch groups at 50 yards is good. But how far do I have to go to get great out of an inexpensive gun? And for me as a shooter, I want to do as little as possible. Like, I'm lazy, flat out. I want to put the gun on a bench, I want to pull the trigger, and I want that pellet to go right in the center every time. With the inexpensive entry-level guns, you certainly have to do your work. I mean, you have to learn how to use that gun's trigger very well because they're not super light, they're not crisp, they're not bad, but you're getting what you're paying for, right? And just by stepping up a couple $100s to something like a Benjamin Marauder, for example, with a nicely adjustable trigger that usually has a very clean first to second stage transition, makes a world of difference. If you get something with a solid barrel, what else is the hang up, right? The trigger is usually the next big thing. So, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Buy what you can afford, all right? Buy the best you can afford. And don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money. It is usually worth it. That's my experience, at least. You get what you pay for.
And you have to remember that with a PCP, and with air guns in general, all of the cost is up front.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get set up, then you can just shoot as much as you want.
Absolutely.
You're not paying, for a fire, for a center fire rifle, you're not paying $1 or $2 or $4, depending on what you're shooting, or more.
Man, what are you playing with?
Per round, right?
Sure.
I mean, you're paying pennies per shot. So,
Right.
so spend the money, get something you're going to enjoy. In that $600 range, like you say, the Marauder is hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Just be, accurate. It's really quiet. Got that trigger. You step up. In that $1,000 range, you've got the Dreamline.
So many options.
And lots of other things.
Right.
I mean, you get up beyond that, and you can get,
lots of fun toys.
Lots of good stuff.
Lots of fun toys.
But you can be happy with a $300 PCP,
Yeah.
or with a $600 one. Get what you can afford.
Set your expectations according to your budget, and then try and buy the best thing you can get for the money. And also, I mean, we're sitting here, we work for retailers, right? So we want you to buy a new gun. Don't overlook the used market. I mean, personally, just on a personal note, I've bought a lot of air guns used, and I've gotten some really great deals on stuff that I wouldn't have bought otherwise because brand new, it just, price point didn't appeal to me. So, don't overlook that, and a big thing, I think, and a lot of help, at least for me, has been, being a part of airgun clubs through the various shooting sports that I participate in. It's like, if you can get out there and try some stuff and get a frame of reference for what your dollar's going to get you, I think that's huge too. So, keep an eye out for those things that might be local to you to get out there and get some experience before you put down your money, and it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, great. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of TNT. If you've enjoyed it, please like and make sure you subscribe both to Airgun Depot's channel and to Pyramyd Air's, because the next episode will be aired a week from today on the Pyramyd Air Insider channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. We'll try to address those, and if there's things you want us to discuss in possible future series, let us know there also. Thanks again for watching.